Welcome to a new fantasy adventure on Dreamscape. Dies Stimmingsvoll Chestig Ursel von dem Wesen Wachdirektor, der durch Migvoll die Besonnenheit Frieden in die Stadt Evermore bringt. The biggest gesture you can give me is a like. If you like my stories, feel free to leave a subscription and activate the bell so you don't miss any more stories. Well then, let's dive into the story. The Old Guardian of Evermore. The town of Evermore lay quietly, surrounded by the mist of dawn. The inhabitants were still asleep when the old watchman Ectar started his rounds over the city walls. Ectar had been doing this job for over 40 years and knew every alley and every corner of Evermore. Slowly, the old man paced the battlements on his gnarled cane and let his gaze wander. All was still peaceful. But Ectar knew that this could change at any time. Only his vigilant duty ensured that Evermore was an island of calm in troubled times. Ectar thought back to all the years he had been protecting these walls. He remembered his first day as a newly appointed guard. Back then, he had been full of energy, always on the lookout for possible dangers. But over time, Ectar had learned that a good guard not only had to be vigilant, but also wise. Sometimes protecting meant letting go and trusting. No one could provide security for a city alone. Slowly, Ectar continued his rounds, stopping here and there to talk to the other guards or the market people who were setting up their stalls early in the morning. He knew them all by name. Suddenly, his eyes caught a young man leaning against the wall of a house. Something about his posture worried Ectar. He walked over to the man, who avoided his gaze.
"What brings you here so early?"
asked Ectar kindly. The stranger winced and stammered an excuse. Then Ectar's eyes fell on a dagger under the man's cloak. Quickly, the old guard grabbed the stranger by the arm and led him away from the alley.
"I see you are in distress,"
said Ectar.
"but you must not go this way. Let me help you."
Surprised, the young man looked at Ectar. There was despair in his eyes, but also gratitude for the unexpected kindness. With gentle steadiness, Ectar led the stranger out the city gate.
"Go and find your own way,"
he said in parting.
"Evermore will always be here should you ever wish to return."
Thoughtfully, the young man looked after Ectar. Then he turned to leave. Satisfied, the old guard continued his way over the walls. He knew that evil could not always be stopped by weapons and force. It often took wisdom, compassion, and patience to keep the peace. So the years passed and Ectar continued to faithfully perform his service. He was well liked and respected by all the residents of Evermore. The children of the town would run after him smiling and bringing him flowers. Time and again, news also reached Ectar of the young man he had once turned away from the path of darkness. He had started a family in another city and was happy. Ectar's kindness had changed his life. When Ectar finally closed his eyes peacefully one day, the whole town mourned the loss of its guardian. But the legends about the wise Ectar remained alive in Evermore for a long time. He had been the epitome of the protector. Generations later, people still told the story of Ectar, who had brought peace through compassion and wisdom. And all those who held the office of guardian in Evermore took Ectar as their role model. And so the legacy of the old guard continued. For true strength, his legend taught, lies not in the might of arms, but in the compassion of a wise heart. But one day, dark clouds gathered over Evermore. A ruthless warlord had risen in the east, intent on conquering the land with his army. Already many cities had fallen. Now he stood at the gates of Evermore. Ectar's successor as guard, the young Mandan, watched with concern as the enemy siege engines built up around the city walls. He knew that soon the battle would begin. In this gloomy hour, Mandan thought of the legends about Ectar. Should he fight or seek a peaceful way out? Mandan retreated to the walls and asked for Ectar's advice in his mind. Then he realized that sometimes wisdom meant standing up for what was right and fighting. So he encouraged the citizens to resist. And when the warlord attacked, they beat him back. Their courage had won. So Ectar's legacy had inspired another guardian. But still his wisdom continued to work in the hearts of the people of Evermore. And Mandan was now the next whose legend was told there.